didn't have a happy ending. And I thought, I want to write this as a song, and I want to give it that happy ending it didn't have in real life. And so these things, over the course of about 2 or 3 years, were happening to us, and we were building this library of ideas. And so when Richard Hess came to us and said, Fringe is happening, I've done it for the past 4 years, I've waited, 15 years to work with you again, Richard, because I knew him back at the Conservatory.
And we should tell our listeners, Richard Hess is head of the drama program at CCM, and has a great track record with the Fringe Festival for 3-4 years now. He's typically had one of the most interesting shows, so an exciting opportunity to partner with him.
The guy's a genius, and we were very close when we were in school, and we've looked for something to do again all these years later. And he said, what do you got? And I said, well, I have this idea that's been cooking. And he said, well, look, if you really want to do it, here's your opportunity. So, let's do it. And very, very quickly, it happened over a very short period of time that we had to sort of get everything together for the Fringe. And the Fringe was really wonderful for what it was. But even before it had closed there, Lynn Myers at ETC had made the offer. I like what I'm seeing. If you're willing to expand it, develop it into a real live show, if you're really serious about this, I'll put it on my season. And we said, lady, you are on. If you're willing to take a chance on us, we will go the distance. And so here we are a year later, almost to the day, and the show's been expanded. It's about 95 minutes now. We were able to put in a lot of songs that were on the drawing board at Fringe, because Fringe happened so quickly we couldn't fit everything in. We couldn't finish everything, truthfully. And so things got finished that had been waiting to get finished. New stuff came in, new stories came in.
So it has evolved. I mean, people will recognize some of the material.
Yeah, the original piece was 18 songs played at the Fringe. And in fact, we just finished a really great, fully orchestrated demo of those 18 songs, which we're thrilled about, although it's a cast that I pulled from Las Vegas and New York. And then we added 10 more cues. 3 of them are major songs, sort of centerpiece kinds of songs. And then 7 of them are smaller, teeny little pieces of varying length that connect the larger pieces together. They're the string that holds it all together, so that architecturally it holds together more as a unit and as a piece of theater.
And we should mention that Richard Hess is again directing
Absolutely,
this production.
I wouldn't do it without him.
And several of the cast members from the Fringe production are here, and several other folks have been added to it. So it's got a cast of 5.
Cast of 5, 3 women and 2 men. The holdovers from the Fringe are Kate Wilford and Jessica Hendy and Charlie Clark. And then our 2 new artists are Beth Harris and Alan Kendall. And we're thrilled about it because even though there are 3 holdovers, we'll call them, they are functioning in a completely new way. So even though they had done it originally, certain pieces got taken away from them. They got other pieces that they hadn't done before. They have new material. Even in some of the harmonies, for example, they're no longer on the same part. Kate is going, well, I was the alto before. Well, Kate, now you're the soprano. So the show doesn't even sound the same, even with these 3 voices that are they're incredible voices. Anyone who's seen any one of those 3 artists know that they're extraordinary singers. But they don't sound the same. The show doesn't sound the same. The show doesn't feel the same. Like a child, it's a year older, and it's grown up. I was in rehearsal yesterday for about 7 hours, just scrubbing our way through the whole score. And I just couldn't believe it, especially after I spent 3 months with a completely different cast, a studio cast, doing a studio album where I could control every nuance and every tempo, and it was a very glossy process, glorious and a terrific sales tool. But here, now being back in Cincinnati with the people who created it, and that have had, in those 3 cases, a year to live with it and simmer in it, I can't even believe what I'm hearing. It's just stunning.
You speak of the recording as a sales tool. That suggests to me that you are thinking then of subsequent productions. Do you have any thoughts yet as to, not specifically, but where would you think this might be headed beyond here?
Well, we don't know, and the funny thing is that, ACE is something that was conceived as a commercial product from its beginning, inception 10 years ago, and we've been very fortunate to have now 5 regional theater productions around the country. It continues to change, it continues to evolve. We have a commercial producing team that's attached to that, so we've had a certain path to it. Don't Make Me Pull This Show Over was a whim in a lot of ways. And it was Richard Hess saying, hey, what do you got in your back pocket? And virtually overnight, because it happened so fast at the Fringe, it exploded. And the word was out, and you got to see this crazy show, and it's so funny, and it's so moving, and all this stuff. And we were like, wow. And then we sat back, and then Lynn makes the offer. Oh my gosh, But then we sort of stepped back and we realized, wait a minute, it's 5 people, a single unit set, a little rock combo of 5 musicians. It is an issue that is universal in a way that Ace maybe appeals to families, but is not universal the way parenting is. And so we suddenly started getting other people coming to us. Whereas in the past, whether it was Ace or Journey to the West or Gospel According to Fishman, we're the ones pitching to other people and saying, come look at my show, I have this product I'm selling. In this situation, what has happened is people are coming to us. They're laughing at the title, number one. They're laughing at the idea of it. They say, tell us about it. We talk about it for 5 minutes, and they say, get me something as soon as you can. So the demo was done more because people were demanding to hear it. We didn't have anything to show them, so we had to do that. So to answer your question in a really roundabout way, the sky's a little bit the limit on it. A lot of people will come in from New York and other places to see it here in Cincinnati, which we're really thrilled about. But in a lot of ways, the show is selling itself. And in this age of internet, it's out there, and people come across it and read about it, and they go, I want to see this show.
Well, if you are someone out there who wants to see this show, you have the opportunity over the 3 weeks ahead. Don't Make Me Pull This Show Over, which has a subtitle also, Dispatches from the Frontlines of Parenting, is opening this coming Wednesday at Ensemble Theater of Cincinnati, where it will be on stage through May the 17th. For more information about the show and about Ensemble Theater, you'll find a link at wvxu.org. My guest this evening has been composer and Cincinnati native Richard Oberacker. It's good to have you back in town, Richard.
It's great to be here.
Thanks for stopping by this evening and for talking about the show. For Around Cincinnati, I'm Rick Pender.